Who are the Métis people?
Well, you know, that's a question I've dealt with majority of my life because there's always a misconception. As long as you're brown skinned, you're an Indian, and you got the total same benefits. And people right here in Alberta alone do not realize the difference between even the Métis Nation and Metis settlements. And we have the good fortune here in Paddle Prairie that we own the largest Métis land base in all of Canada. And we, but these are things have to be brought. Some have come forward, like in universities, the colleges, in the public sector. The difference of being a Metis settlement member and being a First Nations person. You know, they have their misconceptions too. You know, like and but there's going to be more exposure out there than it was when I started with Metis Nation of Alberta in 1970. I first took my first membership, and born and raised here. I was born here in May 18, 1949. There's been some enormous changes, you know. Like when I grew up here, you know, we had what people take for granted today. Like we didn't have no, like you try to go to Manning. If you got to Manning within 4 hours, you were doing great. You know, there to gravel roads, you got behind a gravel truck. That's where you stayed. In the winter time, we were snowed in, and we only had a telegraph line to Keg River, and sometimes the telegraph line would be down. You have to send people out to go fix it, and that's our only communication to the outside. No, you know, the Mackenzie Highway was here, but you know there was limited service, and but the community was a lot closer uh, uh, in those days because we were a small community. Everybody's pretty well located right in the right around the hamlet here, and there was in the 60s when we started got power in most places, and then things got getting outside communications, and like I left here in '66. I went to school out in Greward for 3 years, got my high school education there. But Paddle Prairie's always been home, and uh, I'll never deny that I am from Paddle Prairie, you know, and uh, there's been enormous changes since the signing of the Accord, and majority's all been for the better. You know, we got a lot of young, educated people. We got some local companies here where majority of the local people are employed by them, and like I had the good fortune of working for. Did 2 terms here at the Paddle Prairie Metis Settlement as a counselor, and I did 2 terms at the Metis Nation of Alberta. I was the Region 6 president, and so I know like the difference between the two organizations. And like the Metis Nation of Alberta, the only people that they represent is the card-holding members, not every Métis on the province of Alberta, and that has always been a bit of a conflict in every assembly that I've attended. They represent me because I chose to be a member of the Métis Nation of Alberta, but some people are not card-holding members, so they're not. But they are members of our settlement, and they have their choice. But as the Métis Nation of Alberta, they have really strict guidelines. You have to prove that you are a Métis, and there's no buts or maybes, and you know that's why I got to respect them for their integrity of maintaining the Métis membership for the Métis within the Métis homeland. Because the situation we have now with this bylaw that we have, it's caused a lot of controversy, and we don't need that. Our communities are small. We're all connected one way or the other. Intermarriages, you know, families, and we have enough trouble with the outside world. We don't need anything amongst ourselves. This is a very good community. The freedom we have, like my dad came up from Greward. His family moved up there, Naughty-Cuman, then they moved to Keg River for a year, then they moved to here. And so, the freedom we have, like you want a load of wood, you get a chainsaw, you go get a load of wood. You want to go hunting, you go on fresh meat, you go hunting. You want to go boating, you go boating. You want to trap or hunt, what's not burnt now, it's there. But it's always there all our lives. And being a Métis, like as the late Adrian Hope, who was a real Métis philosopher and a World War II veteran, he says, is the product of the two cultures. The European came across the water, and they weren't just any person off the street that came across the water. They were the top people from whatever country they come to, mostly from French Canadians. And he said they landed on Canadian waters, met all these beautiful young girls. He said, and the Métis is the only true Canadian, was the word he said, because he was born and made here on Canadian soil. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Said that is the true Canadian. That was his philosophy,
Yeah.
and he was a great author. The Settlement. He spent a lot of time here, though, and like some of my children are status, and others they're Métis. My grandchildren are Métis. And so I really, personally speaking, I don't see a distinction between the Métis and the First Nations, but it's the government who does that. Is they want to divide and conquer. While we're busy fighting or to argue with the government for one thing or another, they're busy pulling the carpet out from under us and handing it to the next person.